Hi, this is Andy Rawll from Metal Talk, and today we are talking to Mike Portnoy and Derek Sherinian, Sons of Apollo. Welcome, gents.
Thank you.
So, new album coming out on the 20th of October, Psychotic Symphony. Mike, we originally spoke back in June when you were just getting ready to come over for the Shattered Fortress tour. And we spoke a little bit about this project before it became public.
Right.
Now that it is public, now that you have an album recorded, looking where you are right now, how does the music you've recorded and the way the band comes together, how does that reflect what you were hoping for when the project came together, first of all?
Well, I think that the album and the band has actually gone way beyond my expectations. You know, we last spoke when I was doing the Shattered Fortress tour, and I was doing all Dream Theater music on that, and I think that kind of wet my whistle to get back into the progressive metal genre, and I know the fans were excited to see that as well. So Sons of Apollo to me was kind of the next logical chapter to feed off of that. But to be honest, I think once we started writing together, and me and Derek and Bumblefoot and Jeff and Billy got together, we ended up going to so many other places. I think people are going to be very surprised by this album and this band. I think, you know, on paper, you know, we're probably going to get pigeonholed into, you know, people thinking it's going to be just a wank fest and a million notes. And, you know, yeah, there are a million notes.
It's strategic wankery.
It's strategic wankery. But, I mean, there are strong songs here. And there's a lot of classic rock sounds and styles and influences. And I think the band is really going to surprise people. And
given the different projects you've done, do you have a kind of let's call it a half-life for the band? How long do you think this will go on? Do you see this as a long-term project with multiple albums?
You used the word project. This isn't a project. This is a band. To me,
a full-on band.
To me, a project is some people that maybe send some MP3 files through the mail and never play a show, or maybe play a handful of shows. No, this is...
If it was a project, they wouldn't fly us over here to the UK and at Sony Music to do these interviews.
True that. I mean, this is definitely a real band, and it's going to be a full-time thing that everybody in the band is prioritizing, and we're going to be on the road all next year. And, you know, we plan on, you know, taking this as far as it'll go. And I know I've said that before, and I still do it with my other bands as well, but this feels very special. It really does.
So given kind of the Greek theme to the band, is this very much a democracy or monocracy?
Mike is the de facto leader of this thing, but we both are kind of co-captaining it.
Okay, so the spirit of the Fubio brothers, is that
Del
that
Fubios.
strong? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is our band. Derek and I put it together and produced the album together. But, you know, every band you have to have some sort of structure or protocol. And I've been in many bands where, you know, it's a complete collaboration, and, you know, it's a great process musically and creatively, but also it can be maddening. So, you know, it's good to be in a situation. This, you know, the dynamic we have here kind of reminds me of the way it was in Dream Theater. You know, where I'm kind of the de facto leader, and we'll have final cut and final say on most things. But Derek and I work together producing the albums the same way in Dream Theater myself and John Petrucci did. And there's a lot of teamwork involved in some aspects, and then definitive leadership in other aspects.
I mean, there's certain... Mike's forte is all, like, the things, set lists and all the other things. There's no one that's going to do it better than Mike. He's just been doing it for so long, and it's let him go. I think it's fucking great. I think it's awesome.
What I loved looking at some of the preview videos with all of you together is that there was this instant chemistry and the sense of fun.
Sense of fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
what a concept.
There's distinctive personalities, and I think that's the thing. There's a lot of personality here. I think when this band starts touring live on stage, it's going to be a 5-ring circus, and I think no matter who you're watching, you're going to be entertained. And you know, Bumblefoot and Billy are just, crazy with their double necks and all the shit they do, and Jeff is just an amazing front man. It's really, I think you can make progressive music while still having balls and personality, and I think this band is proving that.
And is there a chance you'll be swapping instruments and with the Nick Lemon's coming out?
He knows his history.
Well,
I think if
there's a band. What are they called?
Daughters of Venus.
Daughters of
Venus might have to make a few appearances on the tour. We'll see.
Have you given the other guys names yet, or that's to come?
That's to come. We'll inform them when we.
That's fantastic. Now, for the Apollo theme, is clearly the god of music, but he's also the god of poetry as well,
and the god of the sun, which is the first song on our record,
which is a good, really good album, like 11-minute song. That's really what you, and it kind of lays out
11:11 to be precise.
that's great. And in terms of the lyrical themes, was that from all of the band, or was there anyone that led the lyrical themes
on what
on the whole album?
I think Jeff brought all the lyrics to the table, and then Derek and myself would work with him and tweak and change and modify with him on the lyrics and the melodies. And Jeff was incredibly open-minded with that process, for sure. A lot of singers are very protective over their territory, but I got to say we're lucky to have one of the nicest guys in the business singing in this band, which is rare for a lot of singers.
Yeah. For me, the sound of the new album, you have the signature keyboard sound of Derek, you have the drumming style, and Billy's bass, which are well known to people. But I love the way that Jeff's voice is kind of adapted to the style.
We really wanted to make sure that his voice was listenable. Jeff is the anchor to this thing. We really wanted to stay away from a lot of the cliches that we hear in prog metal, like the high Hey Abbott vocals, or the breathy, or the fake anger, which we call fanger, #fanger. And it's very listenable. It's very rich. It's a rich voice and pleasant. There's no heinosities.
It's rather soothing to the ear.
It's a soothant, not an adjutant.
Yeah, so I think he's a great choice. And Bumblefoot, from the point of view, his guitar style, he just has these weird meld of styles. I mean, there's a bit on the preview track where there's a bit of Alan Holdsworth in there as well. And you had Alan on one of your solo albums, Derek.
Yeah, I got a couple.
Yeah.
But Bumblefoot, you hear Holdsworth, you hear Jeff Beck, you hear Van Halen. I mean, has such a huge lexicon of influences that he's able to fuse together and come out. And I think with Sons of Apollo, he now has a vehicle where we're going to see him bloom and shine, where in the past he's been restricted. So it's going to be fun watching Bumblefoot ascend to where he should be.
Yeah, I think the time is right for him to do that.
Yeah.
That's great. So the big question, I guess, you've got the album down, coming out in a month's time, which is fantastic. From a touring standpoint, I know that you both got some commitments with some other reasonably sized projects that people know about. What do you envisage in terms of the live life of the band in terms of touring?
I blocked out all of 2018. Black Country Communion wanted to tour in the summer, and I told them my priority is with Sons of Apollo. I feel that this band is going to generate the most heat, and we're all in.
Same here. I mean, my schedule has been completely cleared for 2018. Anything I do outside of Sons of Apollo will be revolving around Sons of Apollo's schedule, and that's what our focus is.
We're in it to win it.
Yeah. But I guess you're in kind of a strange hinterland right now, because Mike, your next, if I've got this correct, your next gig is kind of your homecoming or farewell Shattered Fortress gig back in New York.
Yeah, I have some remaining Shattered Fortress shows this year, but Sons of Apollo isn't planning on touring until February of next year. So yeah, the remainder of 2017 for me will be these remaining Shattered Fortress shows. A big New York show, which is the last American show, and then we have a South American tour and an Australian tour. And then once the clock strikes 2018, it's the year of the Apollo. And
you're able to compartmentalize as you get back on the plane do that New York Shore show and do the October and November tours.
Um,
Do you kind of compartmentalize this, or is this, I can't wait to get started on this?
Well, I can't wait to get started on this, but the reality is I've been juggling multiple bands for the last 7 years. You know, there was I literally just in this past week went from doing Neil Morse tour and the Morse Fest into Shattered Fortress down in Mexico and at Prague Power, then to over here with Derek with Sons of Apollo. And last year I was hopscotching between Winery Dogs and Twisted Sister and Neil Morse. So it's nothing new. I can handle it. I'm used to it at this point.
And I guess the final question, we talked about the tour potential for that, is around the set list. You just have one album that's down. To fill out the show, do you have kind of an inkling, whether it be anything from the guys' careers, cover material? What do you have in mind?
Yeah, I mean, inevitably when a band is touring off their first album, they only have one album to work with, and I've been in this case the last couple years with Winery Dogs and Flying Colors as well, and basically with Sons of Apollo, we got plenty to choose from. In fact, you know, Derek and I have the common history of Dream Theater, and so we could pull from that. And so yeah, the focus will be on Sons of Apollo and all the songs on this album. But if we need to pad out the set, we can easily find some other stuff to work with.
That sounds great. Well, we're really looking forward to hearing all about those plans when they come out. Looking forward to the album Psychotic Symphony coming out on InsideOut on the 20th of October. Mike, Derek, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your support. We appreciate it.
You're very welcome.